By the second year of high school, my friends and I would go to a bar, have a coffee and light up a cigarette. We constantly told each other that we were too tough to get addicted, while at the same time gradually increasing the number of cigarettes. But that's not a problem because we can quit whenever we want, right? Right? Well, fast forward 8 years, and here I am burning through 2 packs a day. I actually wanted to smoke more, but whenever I got near or above that threshold, I felt nauseous. Maybe it was psychosomatic, I don't really know. What I did know was the certainty that I couldn't live without cigarettes. Life would be boring, empty, lifeless. I wasn't crazy, I know smoking is terrible for your health. And I had used the strategy of willpower. I have vowed more times than I can count to reduce my consumption from 2 packs down to 10 cigarettes than to nothing. But soon I would go back to smoking 2 packs. Then I came across this book, The Easy Way to Stop Smoking by Alan Carr. I remember looking at it with a sarcastic grin. I was like, here we go, another charlatan selling easy solutions, just like the grifters in the weight loss industry. So I simply ignored it. I continued with the willpower method. The idea was that someday I would be able to build the necessary discipline to break this disgusting habit. But the more I tried, the more I failed. Defeated, I decided to give this book a shot. Now, Carr has a simple request. Keep an open mind until the end of the book, and while you read, keep smoking as much as you normally do. Alright, I can keep an open mind. So I am reading, and he is shockingly relatable. He has this easy conversational style, and even though I started out convinced that he was a snake oil salesman, I find myself nodding along. It was when I reached page 20, maybe 25, that this horrifying realization dawned on me. If I finish this book, I am going to quit. So I quit reading. I was like, no man, I'm not ready, I've got too many problems. I cannot quit smoking right now. So I went back to my ordinary routine for a long time. I didn't even try to quit until I finally hit the wall. I was sick and tired of being a smoker. The smell, the sheer cost, the fact that I'm enslaved to it. It just fucking sucked. This time, however, I was genuinely ready to finish the book. But first, I needed proof. So I went straight to the Amazon and Goodreads pages to scour the testimonials. Look, Anthony Hopkins has used this method to quit. That's very cool. He's one of my favorite actors. If it worked for him, it can also work for me. Now I am reading these testimonials and I am hanging on to every word. Hundreds of people are explaining how they managed to get free in a relatively painless way. And I can't help but feel overwhelmed with hope. So I sat down to read the book. About a week later, I finish the last page. I burn the last cigarette just like Carr told me. And that's it. I am free of this monster. Yes, it was that simple. However, in the following week, there was a lot of stress. I had some family issues and a voice in the back of my head told me to light up a cigarette and push quitting for another time. But I was like, nope, smoking doesn't relieve stress, that's a myth. Plus, if I can handle this, the rest will be a piece of cake. And here we are today. It's been over 4 years since I last smoked a cigarette. None. And yes, it was painless, it was simple. Now, how the fuck is this possible? Why did it work? Well, the reason it worked is that Carr doesn't rely on willpower. He understands that smoking is an addiction, and like any addiction, it has a certain structure on how it keeps you trapped, right? He knows every core belief, every fleeting thought, and every desperate justification you use to keep smoking. And as you read, he seamlessly knocks them all down. But even though he clearly did a ton of research, he clearly has a lot of experience with helping people quit. He writes in a way as if you are sitting across from him at a bar or a restaurant. If you have ever seen the movie My Dinner with Andre, this is exactly what it feels like. Two people, an intimate, sprawling conversation, and by the end, your entire worldview has shifted. Now let's go deeper. What makes him so persuasive? Or as I like to call him, a wizard. What makes him a wizard? You know, it seems like he hypnotizes people. And maybe he does, I don't know. But the way I understand it is that he surgically gets rid of all of the reasons you have for smoking, and what is left? You just don't smoke. Because you see, without knowing, society is brainwashing you. It gives you many beliefs around the destructive habits that are plain fucking wrong. In this case, they tell you that smoking is lethal and filthy, but at the same time, they sell it as a magical cure for stress and boredom. Or they will tell you that smoking makes you look cool. In this case, they are right, you know, it does make you look cool, but the rest is all bullshit, alright? It's all bullshit. You are bombarded with the idea that quitting is one of the hardest things you could ever do, and since you have no reference point to compare it to, you end up believing it. Look, you have to understand that the brain is super adaptable. If you truly believe that a certain destructive habit, whatever it is, it could be smoking, sugar, alcohol, vaping, drugs, whatever it is, if you truly believe that you cannot overcome it, then the brain will find a way to live with it. From the very beginning, you're accommodating your behavior not according to your actual needs, but to your addiction. And you are constantly coming up with reasons to continue doing drugs, drinking, or smoking, etc. Now, if you describe those reasons to someone, say a non-smoker, they will probably sound irrational, right? But they don't sound like that to you because you really believe them. At some point, you don't even bother questioning them. You know, on that aspect of life, you are essentially functioning on autopilot. Carl knows this. That's why he doesn't show judgment at all, which is refreshing because in your everyday life, people are judging you. They might fake being understandable, but you can often sense that they don't really mean it. The irony is that those same judgmental people probably have destructive habits themselves, but haven't reached the awareness phase yet. So Dr. Carr, and by the way, he's not really a doctor, but I like calling him because he's more effective than actual graduated doctors. So Dr. Carr avoids judgment, but he also doesn't use fear. He doesn't tell you that what you're doing is harmful. You already know that. There is no point in terrifying you. Instead, he seamlessly takes down every reason why you smoke. As those rationalizations and beliefs collapse one by one, you are fundamentally changing how you perceive yourself. You are not someone who is struggling to quit smoking, but you are someone who is already a non-smoker. That's the kill shot. By the time you extinguish that last cigarette, you are not starting a difficult journey. You are already at the destination. You are no longer a victim making a heroic sacrifice. You are a hostage who has finally realized that the prison door was unlocked the whole time. So look, my father, brother, and some of my best friends are all heavy smokers, just like I was. And since that final cigarette, I have never for a single moment envied them. In the beginning, they would look at me with this quiet pity when they lit up a cigarette. They assumed that it was tearing me apart to watch them. But I told them continuously that I honestly couldn't give a fuck. And the beautiful truth is that I truly meant it. So this is how I quit smoking, and if you pay attention to the framework, this is how you can overcome any addiction. But of course, with the help of a highly trained professional. You know, when we are talking about drugs, weed, and alcohol, those are not easy to quit on your own. It is possible, but it's very difficult, so I would highly recommend that you find a highly skilled professional and work with them. If it takes a lot of money, get into debt and do it, man. because not only you are spending money, but you are wasting your life and you are hurting the people around you. On the other hand, when it comes to losing weight, overcoming sugar addiction, cigarette addiction, I think you can overcome this on your own. But it doesn't hurt to have a professional help if you can afford it.